Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Helm Developer Call, May 20th, 2021. Glad to see everybody here. We're going to follow the same format as usual. So let's start with some announcement. The next release 3.6 is coming. Is Mr. Farina here? You've put it, or maybe Bridget had the foresight of putting it. I see.
Bridget added it for me. Next Wednesday, 3.6.0 is planned on coming. We have a release candidate out now. It's got a number of new features in it. What I would ask is anybody who's interested, please go download the release candidate and take it for a spin and see if you find any issues that would cause us need to fix them and issue another release candidate first. Or tell us that everything works beautifully and there's no bugs. That would be great to know too.
I think it's worth mentioning the efforts of some of the maintainers getting the patches in for the RC. I know that was intense. Thank you for that. Any questions about the release? If not, maybe we get some news about KubeCon, Bridget.
Absolutely. So our Helm presence at KubeCon EU, it was definitely a hit. I got a bunch of numbers in the doc you can take a look at, but we had literally hundreds and hundreds of people showing up to office hours to talk to maintainers. We also had a bunch of people show up at the actual sessions in the chat, but I was really impressed by how many people wanted to come and interact with us. And I think that just means we're going to have to think about KubeCon North America. I'm going to actually toss it to Karina because she has a KubeCon North America related topic that she should probably tell us about.
Yes, and I'll drop the link into chat as well. But the deadline for proposals is this Sunday at 11:59 Pacific, right? So don't wait until 11:30 to write your proposal. So has anybody already submitted? I know I'm finishing up mine today.
In the fullness of time. If anyone has Helm related proposals that they would like another set of eyes on or assistance, I'm happy to talk to you about it. Reach out to me on Kubernetes Slack. I'll be happy to help. And I'll just jump to the next one since my next topic is also related, which is some of the help that people are doing is documentation related. And I want to shout out Karina because the FAQ this iteration of the FAQ started life as oh gosh, we're moving from Helm 2 to 3. We should tell people many, many things. And so it was very focused on that. And then we just started adding other things kind of under that weren't really related to the 2 to 3 migration. Karina went through and refactored it, split it out, started reorganizing it. And I'm really happy about the effort of people jumping in to work on existing docs, because writing new docs is very important, but refactoring and improving existing docs is also super important. So thank you to Karina for that. And action item for everyone there, go over the www repo and see which of the open issues where people are confused about something you could write a doc on if you wanted to. All right.
Thank you, Karina. Next announcement is we have a retiring maintainer. I haven't worked with him, so Farina, maybe you can want to say a few words.
Yeah, so we have 9 org maintainers and Vic is one of them, or was one of them. As part of our governance, if you're going to step down, you send something to the mailing list. And he and I had been talking in the background and he decided to step down as an org maintainer. He's actually a maintainer on, I think, 4 different code bases or 4 different parts. I guess charts is one of them. And I believe he's stepping down from all of it. He actually hasn't been active in the last quarter. He's been off on other things. His position inside of Google changed and he's moved on to other projects. And so he's not doing Helm stuff anymore. And so he is politely just stepping down right now. And so if you were here, I would thank him. I don't think he's here.
If you watched the video, thank you very much.
Yeah, he did a wonderful job with charts. He was actually responsible for getting us up and going with a lot of the CI infrastructure we needed to run with the charts testing when we had the stable and incubator repositories. He managed and worked a lot with that and got a lot of it going and was invaluable in working on that stuff. But since that time, he's been a lot less involved.
All right. Thanks, Matt. Any other announcements? Nothing else on the document, if somebody has something. If not, let's jump to discussions. Bridget, you have an item about the Helm repo audit.
Oh, yeah. So this is just quick note. It's been ongoing. If anyone has any changes or discussion about it, we can discuss it. Otherwise, just take a look. If you think you have repos that you intend to archive, you're probably right. So take a look. And yeah, and then I'll roll on to my next item too, which is just, hey, we have a bunch of HIPs that you may be interested in. And if you have not commented on all the HIPs that are of interest to you, maybe you should go look at the HIPs, because there might be something that you care about, that you have opinions about, that you could put some input before it is too late. Yeah.
I'll take the opportunity with maybe asking Josh, the acceptance testing repo, we haven't given, just as guilty, haven't given much attention. It hasn't real, some people, I believe, are using it somewhere, but the number of tests has not grown. It was really, I think, a get things started and hopefully the community would get involved. It didn't pick up. On the completion side, which was the side I added, the tests are not even that necessary because now we've gone to go tests. So
yeah, it's interesting you bring that up. I just started actually rehashing on that for registry support. So the framework is actually really well put together. I agree it's not very maintained, but I'm adding basically a robot test for registries, so you can point to your registry URL and see if it supports all the different features of Helm.
Cool.
We can talk offline about, like, I don't think we should archive it, but maybe some of those tests can just be baked into Helm. I don't know.
Okay. I think that having the commits checked automatically, you had worked on CI for it, and I think it broke at one point. But I think if we could get that to work again, it would already.
Yeah.
But I'm not trying to put work on you. I was just bringing it up. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, the original point was to make sure Helm worked with certain Kubernetes versions, and it is woefully out of date. It's like 1.15 or something. So yeah, I'll broaden that to if anyone else wants to get involved.
I think I wanted to, it was more, I'm sorry to put you on the spot like that. It was more as a community, there's an opportunity there to maybe get more Helm stability, and
sure,
somebody would need to step up.
Ooh, that sounds like a help wanted.
Help wanted, yes. Bold letters.
I will say, when we look at these, to jump to a different one, there's one called Poll Sizer. So in all of our repositories, it says, hey, this is XL code size change, or this is a medium, or this is a small. That's Poll Sizer right there. That's doing that. If we need to keep it going until we have an alternative to the service running in the background. And so that's the big thing there is Poll Sizer should not be deprecated at this point, just because we don't have an implemented alternative. Though I would like to have an implemented alternative, and I think there's some GitHub actions we could potentially use for this, but I haven't looked in a while. So if somebody wants to look into GitHub actions we could use that would replace our sizes for sizing as labels, that would be fantastic.
I mean, personally, I think the Poll Sizer could benefit from, or the alternative could benefit from some improvements. For example, I think it counts shifted lines, which then gives the impression the patch is way bigger than it is. I've seen that happen before. So there might be some improvements that people could add at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
If we go down the list, we've talked about HIPs. Planning for Helm 4 and the HIP 12. Dr. Butcher, I'm not sure he's around. Was that added by him, Bridget?
Here. I brought this one over from last time because it was deemed that we should discuss it a little bit more in this meeting. And I'm not sure if, and this is the Helm 4 planning and development process. Should we defer that to next week?
So, I mean, we can defer it till next week if you'll have a chance to make it. The big thing that I would ask is, does anybody have any other issues with it? Is everybody who's interested in Helm v4 read it? Because it outlines timelines, roles and responsibilities, processes. It basically highlights, here's how we will approach Helm v4, and here's who will have what responsibilities on it in what timetable. So if people are interested in Helm version 4, I would suggest, commenting or giving it a thumbs up or whatever, because feedback would be useful here. And we're trying to give everybody the opportunity to see the process beforehand, which was one of the problems with Helm version 3, is not enough of the process was clearly documented in public, and people had some questions and concerns about that. And so this time around, it's being clearly documented and put out publicly.
I would add one thing to that, Matt. It's in around, so I had a few points in and around what we do with branches and stuff like that. So there was a pushback, and Matt Fisher made a good point around what will happen with Go module versioning and so forth. So they may need to be a bit more added to that, but it'd be good to get that in as well to the doc. So we'll see. We'll see what Matt Butcher comes back with.
Yeah, and I'll try to take a pass at some of this too. And as far as the lazy consensus comments, what we actually need, because this is a HIP against Helm, 2 of the Helm maintainers at least need to approve this for it to go in. Lazy consensus wouldn't actually be enough. We actually need 2 positive approvals from Helm maintainers in order for this to move forward.
Yeah, I think there's 2 approvals from yourself and Matt Fisher. The only thing is there's been a few changes that I've been pushed in. So let's see again, maybe we need to clear those okays and go again, make another review at it. Yeah, that's okay.
All right, thank you. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, really quick, I was just gonna say, so I'm looking through this document. Like, what is the impetus for a Helm 4? Just like, I guess my question is, so Helm 3 made a lot of sense removing Tiller and changing a lot of the UX and refactoring, but is there a reason for major version update, or is it just like keep the project going type planning?
So there have been a number of people who've wanted to make breaking changes. We now have a growing number of internal Go APIs that we have a deprecated version and the new version, because we always keep the Go API compatible. There's certain things like that, and we can do breaking changes and do some cleanup internally. There are also some folks who have had some ideas they thought they wanted to chase after that would require breaking changes. And so by opening the door to a Helm 4 discussion, we get to entertain that. Now, part of this documented process actually gives the ability to go ahead to say, you know what, we open the door to it, but we don't get sufficient proposals for anything new that would require breaking change, that we're not going to do it right now. We put it off till later. So this affords us the opportunity to have the discussion and a process around it, but it actually gives us a way to pull out if there isn't anything that needs to go forward.
Okay, understood. Yeah, so it's just we're having a process in place for that when that day comes, and if the day comes. Yeah. Okay.
And we will have a discussion around, do we have enough to start Helm 4 development? And the answer may be no, not yet. But we've got to figure that out, and we haven't been entertaining that conversation very well.
One part of it as well of the process doc is that there needs to be a backlog or list of HIPs for before the Helm 4 actually kicks off. So that'd be one prerequisite. So if there's nothing there, Josh, so to speak, or there's not enough requirements, then it wouldn't probably give the go ahead for it.
Okay, understood. Thank you.
All right. Any other points for Helm v4? All right. So we have one more point, but before we do that, I'll try to be disciplined and ask for moderator triage and notes for next meeting. So either put your name in the list or put it in the chat or wave us off. And we'll move on to the next item on the agenda, which is the support for the Hide Secrets flag, which is a PR 9130. Mr. or Mrs. Bose?
That's me. Yeah.
Sorry about that.
No
Oh,
worries.
Shubik.
Yeah.
Shubik. Yeah. Sorry. Oh no. I would. Okay. Sorry.
No
Go
worries. Yeah, I'm so glad I joined at the right time. So I'm just volunteering this on behalf of the PR author. It's been open for a while. I've reviewed it a couple of times. I've provided feedback about ensuring that Helm template and Helm install, they both work in a similar way with respect to hiding out the contents of the secret optionally. It looks good to me. I've reviewed it, tested it. We'll need the eyes of one of the maintainers on it so that we can merge it. That's it from my side.
Okay. Yeah, this one will need, because of its size, approvals from 2 maintainers. And it would, to answer the question on it, it would, the soonest it could go in would be 3.7, because this is a feature edition, so it's got to come out in a minor release, and the next minor release is probably, we got to look at the dates, August or September. It'll be about a month after the next minor Helm release is when we're scheduling it.
Sounds good. Thank you very much.
If it gets moved into the release, in fact, maybe I'll do that if I can find it now.
Put it in the
That-
milestone.
Yeah, I'll put a milestone on it, because then it'll get reviewed. Yeah, that the link I have says September 8th would be the release day for 3.7.
Got it.
I got a quick process call along those lines for when the maintainers need it. For example, on new developer that comes in for the first time, it looks like the pipeline doesn't even run if a maintainer doesn't flag it, right? Is
Oh,
there a
yeah.
process for that? Is there a
That's
process for that?
yeah. GitHub actually changed that just recently. That was because
Yeah.
people were using GitHub Actions on random repos to mine Bitcoin.
I see. So is there anything that developers can do when they're first time submitters to?
One of us has to click a clicky because otherwise they might be Bitcoining, is my understanding of what GitHub's intention
I
was
understand,
there.
but is this a good forum, for example, to bring it up? You know, if it takes too long or.
Yeah, it's an okay forum.
Okay.
We have people who issue triage, and I think we've been good with the issues and not as good with the new pull requests coming in lately. And so it's one of those things where we got to spend a little bit more time going through reviewing those and clicking the clicky when we make sure it's not Bitcoin mining. Okay.
I'll keep an eye, because I mean it's a new this week PR, so it's not something that's been sitting there for a while, but I keep an eye on it. I will review and test it, but it does need that maintainer to move even through the pipeline, right? So
yeah, it does. And this is a new thing for things on GitHub as of only a couple of weeks ago. On the Kubernetes projects, they've had something similar for years now. And sometimes it does take a little while before the clicky gets pushed, or in Kubernetes case, something happens in order to kick the ball off. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you for the question.
Good question.
And in my experience,
go ahead.
Sorry, just a quick thing. And in my experience, David, this call has been pretty good with respect to, drawing the attention of folks for specific issues and PRs. So far, we've been able to scale that process, so that's good. When it becomes huge, we'll not be able to scale, but so far it's going good. So you should be able to do that.
Okay, thank you, guys.
All right. Any other discussion topics that are not on the list, but feel free, especially the new people, if they want to discuss something. We have another 9 minutes.
Oh, I just wanted to introduce an intern on our team, Annie. Annie, if you want to say hi to the Helm call.
Yeah, hi, I'm an intern on Bridget's team, and I'm excited to be here.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Annie's mostly going to work on service mesh. So trendy, but she at least wants to see what a mature graduated open source CNCF project looks like. So
You couldn't have come for a better community.
Welcome, Annie.
All right. Somebody else? We have a couple minutes or else we finish early. All right. Well, we'll close off today. You get an extra 8 minutes. Thank you for coming, and I hope everybody has a good week. Thanks for your presence. Bye-bye.
Thank you.